or I'm revisiting how language really limits our capacity, our mental capacity to think multidimensionally, to think in a more in a less, let's say it this way, in a less polarized way. So what happens is that our language is linear. You guys have heard this said before. Our language is linear, and when you have a linear language, you have the um, the concepts that you're trying to describe are confined to a certain way of expression. And this is actually highlighted for us when people start using the language as poetry. Okay. So think about your favorite poet, if you have one. They are able to breathe a soul, a life into the linear language. In this case, I'm talking about English, but they do this in all the languages. And you may think that, the Germanic languages are the ones that are the most limited. That's not true. Latin languages are included in the limitation. There was a guy that did a study on languages and studied which one fostered more expansive thinking and capacity of expression. And he deduced that Romanian was the most dynamic language on the planet, currently spoken on the planet today. And I found that a very interesting thing because Romanian has a lot of sounds that's required for the palate to make that are not in English or not in any of the Germanic languages or Latin languages, or even Asian languages. So there's a lot to be said to the kinds of even the way we form our words in relationship to the vibration of the words, in relationship to the truth it's trying to express. So poets, what they do with the linear language of English or whatever language, they're able to breathe life, a soul into the language. So you can have a stanza that has many, many meanings. Say there's 4 lines in the stanza, and they can use punctuation, they can use rhythm, they can use rhyme, they can use the meaning of the word, they can use the multiple meanings of the word to create a more something that's closer to a holographic expression. And that's because we live in a holographic reality, folks. The truth inside gets reflected to us outside. So the only way we can have a language that expresses the real truth of what's inside of us, it needs to be holographic. And that's not what these linear languages do. But poets, in their creativity, in their artistry, they show us that there is a way to turn linear expression into something more dynamic. Okay. So poetry is something that reflects to us the limitations of how our language is used and how it limits our capacity to relay things from within us, truths that are within us. When we're speaking in a linear way, it's very easy to manipulate an idea. It's very easy to misrepresent a truth. When we are speaking holographically or speaking in a way that's more dynamic, then the truth can only be seen by the one who has the eyes to see it, right? The heart to recognize it. So, in a way, it's kind of encoded, but it's also nearly impossible to misrepresent the subject, the content of what's being expressed. You just let what I'm saying land, like get the traction of this, because this is what we're breaking out of right now. Our linear limitations of seeing things in black and white, left and right, up and down, male, female, right, wrong, good, bad. Okay. This is a field, an energetic field that weaves us all together, and language is a participant within maintaining and moving people around in this field. Now you are malleable and manipulatable in this field if you are disconnected from yourself or if you're distracted enough. Okay, so distraction is the name of the game of these manipulators. And these manipulators are more than just the common narratives of what we say they are. We are trained our perceptions are trained even by the languages we speak. This 4D field that we are inundated in has been highly weaponized to keep us small in our thinking and our perceptions, so we can't see the hologram through the trees. We cannot see the control systems doing what they do as blatantly. But as soon as we start changing the way we think and looking at things from a different perspective, it becomes blatantly obvious that there is a invisible intelligence steering the consciousness of humanity. And I'm not talking about God. I'm not talking about a divine force, though that is in there too.